Before The Godfather, Francis Ford Coppola directed a dark, grounded tale, The Rain People. Stars Shirley Knight as a woman who leaves her husband, like literally leaves a note, runs away. After she finds out she's pregnant, she rethinks her whole marriage, her life in general. How could she be a good wife? Could she be a mother to a child? All these things come flooding into her mind and insecurities. Starts out really slow. Starts out with like a shot of a puddle of rain. We get a lot of scenic of small town country, garbage being taken out by local businesses, moves kind of slow and plodding through. Shirley Knight, when she's on the run, literally like tries to escape her bedroom without waking her husband. And her husband, we don't really see him much throughout the film, but we hear him as she makes these phone calls back home through a phone booth and admits that she's scared to come back and all these other things. And obviously the husband is pissed. The movie really starts getting into interesting territory and kicks into full gear when James Caan shows up as a hitchhiker who wants to leave his job on a college campus. Find out later, James Caan's character is suffering from a traumatic brain injury from playing football in college. Shirley Knight almost feels stuck at this point where she picked up a hitchhiker who she feels sorry for, but she also can't handle it. Finds him attractive, but also like thinks he's dumb for his condition, and she doesn't think he's capable of much. And that's kind of what James Caan's character is battling throughout. He's special ed, essentially, and the best work he's good at is like manual labor of raking leaves. So she tries multiple times to leave him on the road and leave him in situations, particularly like this animal farm. That's where we meet Robert Duvall, who's an officer, and he's got his own problems too. Single dad, raising a daughter in a trailer park. It leads to this crazy climax that I don't want to spoil, but it stuck with me, and I wasn't sure how I felt about The Rain People. Still not quite 100% sure that I liked it. I think it's a well done movie though, and I think it's dealing with some themes that are ahead of its time, like abortion, special education, mental illness, CST, football injuries, all the above, domestic violence. It turns to the point of almost like horror movie. And the way that Coppola frames some of the shots, there's an awesome mirror scene with James Caan and Shirley Knight where the mirror is pretty static, but the blocking has them going in interesting ways. Visual example of the dysfunction between the two characters. And then there's scenic shots, tracking shots of small town. It's a road trip movie, so there's a lot of shots from cars passing through neighborhoods. And audio, I think Francis Ford Coppola gives us a little bit of a taste of the conversation. This movie was before the conversation, but 1969, they had phone booths, and you get the audio of Shirley Knight's husband yelling at her, and that's all like in the phone booth. The audio is very raw and rugged. The editing is interesting too, where Shirley Knight thinks about her marriage, and we immediately like smash cut to her wedding ceremony, which is very much like the beginning of The Godfather, a big Italian wedding. But overall, I think The Rain People is a well-crafted film. It's a dark film. I don't think if you're not in for that kind of mood where it's sort of like an emotional riot at sometimes. James Caan is the star of this movie. I think that his performance is one of his best, to be honest. He's so good in this role, so likable, and you feel really bad for him and you really root for him to get in a good situation. The thing that he does at the end is just, it's very impactful for the whole film in general, and left me with a lot to think about after the credits rolled. This Warner Archive Blu-ray looks phenomenal. It's a new restoration, probably the best it's gonna look. It looks amazing on Blu-ray. Audio sounds pretty good. No special features, unfortunately. Wish there was at least something on here. There's nothing, not even a trailer. Overall, I'm recommending it for the performances, the cinematography, the early works of Francis Ford Coppola. Have you guys seen The Rain People? Let me know below in the comments your thoughts. And if you like this video, please share on social media. And as always, this has been Return to Disc. I'm Dan.